Hello and welcome to Lincoln to Local. I'm Hannah Davis, joined by Steve Thompson to bring you an update on what Farm Bureau is doing at the state capitol. Steve, this week was a big week for Farm Bureau as we sent out our very first action alert on an ad valorem issue. So what ended up happening on that bill?
That's exactly right, Hannah. We had a major situation develop that we did not seek out to have a fight on, but it was brought to us, and we didn't expect to have to lay it all out onto the House floor. But the true measure of an organization is how it responds in difficult situations. I was very proud of our members, the way that they answered the call to action that we put out on Monday, working with our field representatives at the Capitol. We saw a tremendous response from around the state, and were able to defeat House Bill 2776 by a fairly wide margin, thanks in large part to the efforts of our members who spoke out and contacted their House of Representatives member.
Great. So we also saw another deadline week this week. What's next on the agenda for the state legislature?
Yes, we're about halfway through the first run of the process now as bills switch to the opposite side now. We saw a lot of activity on the floor this week. We now will begin starting next week. We have a little bit of a pause for spring break as we kick off committees again on the other side. And for most of us, that means spring break in the OIE, but for the legislature, they kind of take a step back and take a deep breath and look at what has survived the process and then dig in on the opposite side of the Capitol.
So as those bills start to switch chambers, what are some of the issues left on the table for Farm Bureau to focus on?
Well, while we have seen a drastic decrease in the total volume of legislation out there, there's still some really critical issues floating around. Things relating to water permitting requirements for ag producers that have seen some attacks from outside organizations that we're working with a number of groups to try to improve. Water rights for groundwater involved in oil and gas operations, working with the energy industry to clarify some of that as we move forward. Trying to improve the economic situation in eastern Oklahoma as it relates to the forestry industry, and improving some sales tax exemptions for commercial forestry equipment, as well as really a statewide issue with rural broadband service. That's been a topic we've discussed for a long time. It's been a priority issue, and we still have a number of bills out there seeking to work positively for our members in that area.
Great. Thanks for the update, Steve. And thanks for joining us for another episode of Lincoln to Local.